Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Abdul Bazinab. I am going to record my first video. This channel is only for educational services, especially history subject. So please subscribe, like, and also share. If you have a question or any suggestion, welcome. Comment gochuun dandeessu. So my first video starts from the last year second semester history final exam from Oromia for boarding and non-boarding schools. So it is very important, it is useful for you, especially at this time you are going to take your second semester history final exam, and this is very important video. So partii lamatti qoodne ilaalla. Short goonee akka boqonnaa fudhattanitti deebitaniif subscribe godhaa, share godhaa, like godhaati waliin gahaati ilaala. Let us start. Choose the best answer from the given alternatives and write your choice of letter on the separate provided answer sheet. Question number 1. Which one of the following best explains why the United Nations organization was founded? Why? The reason. So it is the objective. A, to continue legacy of League of Nations? No. B, to maintain international peace and security? Yes, B is correct. C, to protect interest of members of Security Council? Not only for the interest of the Security Councils. United Nations have 50 members. Security Council have 50 members. 5 of them are permanent and 10 are non-permanent. This to help the development of African countries. This is also not correct. So the answer is B. Question number 2. Which of the following was the main difference between USA and the USSR during the Cold War? The difference between America and Russia during the Cold War. So it was A, ideology. A is correct. B, religion. No. C, issues of formation of United Nations organization. No. D, issues of First World War. The answer is A, ideological difference. USA was capitalist and Russia was communist. Question number 3. Which one of the following was not, you have to understand such questions, not among the most important strategies or features of Cold War? A, arms race. Yes, it is one of the strategies of Cold War. B, espionage. Yes. C, proxy war. Yes. D, improved relation of USA and Soviet. D is not the correct one. So arms race jechuun competition on the producing of most stronger kan ta'e oomishuu irratti, such as atomic bomb, ballistic missile. Espionage, when we say, it is about gathering information through intelligence and also through agents. Proxy war, when we say, participating in the war on the side of their allies or on the side of the country that follows their ideology. Question number 4. Which one is correctly matched regarding American president's policy on Vietnam? Why Vietnam? Let's say Americans have participated, so which is correctly matched? A, John F. Kennedy, Rolling Thunder. A is not correct. Why? Because Rolling Thunder bombarding the South Vietnam was by Johnson. B, Johnson is strategic hamlet, so it is also not correct. Why? Because strategic hamlet or safe village kan jedhamu. It was not by Johnson. It was by John F. Kennedy. C. Vietnamization of the war. Yes, C is correct. Correctly matched. Vietnamization of the war in order to reduce the American involvement in Vietnam War. President Nixon have started this policy. D. Truman, save village. Truman, save village. It is not true. The answer is C. Truman, who supported, who promised for the Indo-Chinan states to return for French colony. So this is not correct. Question number 5. What was the main objective of non-aligned movement members? Non-aligned movement, when you say, during in the Cold War, different countries established an international organization that is free from capitalist or America and also the Soviets from Russia. A. Excluding themselves from the membership of United Nations? No. They did not exclude themselves from United Nations, but excluded themselves from being with or against both America and Russia. B. To officially liberate themselves from neo-colonialism? No. C. To be neutral and relax the tension between the two blocs? C is correct. To be neutral, they are in peaceful intervention in the world politics. So they are to be neutral from being with or against both the two superpowers and also relax from the tension. This to achieve their aim of becoming superpower? No. The answer is C. Question number 6. How did Emperor Haile Selassie avoid the impact of British domination on Ethiopia in the immediate to the post-liberation? In 1941, when Emperor Haile Selassie restored the Gutamo, British domination was immediately started. Why? Because restoration of Emperor Haile Selassie Gesarkangabdo. So how he avoid akamittiin domination kan ofirraa teksoo eegalee avoid godhaa ture. B. Through military engagement? A. Through military engagement? No. B. Signing agreements of 1942 and 1944? Yes, B is true. Through agreements, signing the first Anglo-Ethiopian agreement in 1942 that have recognized Ethiopian independence, but have put a different restriction on the sovereignty of the country. And also the second agreement was signed in 1944. So B is correct answer. C says by signing agreement of point 4. No, point 4 was about with America. American support for Ethiopia, especially through education, agriculture, and also military. D. By receiving military support from USA? No. Question number 7. What among the causes for the downfall of Haile Selassie regime, which one was the first serious act along the road to revolution? Which one was the first serious act? Serious content. A. The teachers' opposition against educational sector review. B. The unemployed youth revolt in the capital city. C. Mutiny or the rebuild of the Nigeli army. D. The students' movement. So the most serious act was from C. From the mutiny of the Nigeli army. The rebellion or the revolt of the Nigeli army. Question number 8. All are the major regional economic communities of Africa except Tokomale Hundino regional economic communities that are established by Africans in Africa in order to overcome the economic problems. A. ECOWAS. B. SADC. C. IGAD. D. WHO or World Health Organization. So the ABC are regional economic communities of Africa. So D is not one of the regional economic communities of Africa. Question number 9. Which one of the following was among the principal factors that adversely affected African development in 1980s and 1990s that adversely affected Africa economic development. A scarcity of natural resource is forced. Africans are rich in different natural resources such as mineral, rivers, and so on. B. Continuation of the colonial rule. No, colonial rule was ended during the 1960s from many African countries. C. Drought and international debt. C is correct answer. C is correct answer. C is correct answer. C says C is correct answer. Drought and international debt are the two principal factors that affect African development. Is the involvement of Africa in the Cold War? No. So C is the correct answer. Hongefi international debt from IMF and also from World Bank affected African development. Why? Because there is adverse trade that also affected the African economy. Why? Because they import at low cost, they export at low cost and import by high costs. Question number 10. Which one is true regarding the socio-economic condition of the post-liberation of Ethiopia? Socio-economic condition, like you say, which one is true? A. The country's economy was mainly dependent on trade. No, the country's economy is dependent on agriculture. B. Shortage of funds, skilled personnel and material. Yes, B is true. They lacked what? Funds, financial problem, skilled personnel, power, and also materials. C. Uniform distribution of industries in all provinces. No, not uniform distribution, not uniform development. B. Effective implementation of development plans. No, effective implementation of development plan. Even development plan was failed due to shortage of this birra kanjiran sana. Question number 11. Which one is right regarding the Arab-Israel conflicts? The Arab-Israel conflict that was started in 1948, immediately with the establishment of Israel. So which one is correct? Correct. A. Both them had intention to spread their sphere of. No. A. Says the goal of PLO, Palestine Liberation Front, was to establish a Jewish homeland. No. To oppose the establishment of a Jewish homeland and to establish what? The Palestinian homeland. Ijarufe. A is not correct. B. The USSR was supporter of the Israel forces. No, not USSR. It was America or USA. C. Yom Kippur was fought in 1967. Yom Kippur was fought in 1967. This is also not correct. Why? Because Yom Kippur was in 1973. D. The state of Israel was created in 1948. True. This is true. Israel bara 1948 ijaaramtee jechuudha. 12. Which one is correct about the role of USA and the Soviet Union in Asia during the Cold War? Cold War keessatti kan gaheen USA fi Soviet Russia laalchisee kamtu sirriidha? A. Both of them had intention to spread their sphere of influences. Both of them had intention to spread their sphere of influences. When we say their ideologies, so A is correct. B. America wanted to colonize Korea while USSR to colonize China. No, USSR was with China. America was also with Korea and also southern Vietnam. With also the Vietnam others. Question number C. they concerned to develop economy of Asian countries. No, not about the economic, it was about the politics, about the war. D, both of them had ambitions of avoiding conflict in the Asian countries. No, avoiding conflict osoo hin taane victorious ta'anii argamuudhaaf there is a competition. Proxy war jechuunis akkana kana jechuudha. Okay, question number 13. How did Gorbachev reform led to the collapse of Soviet Union? Soviet Union bara 1991 dhumatte. Gorbachev reform was the most factor jedhama. Haaromsi inni geggeesse. So Gorbachev maal geggeesse? Two reforms, political and economic reform. Politically glasnost and also economically perestroika kan jedhamu sana geggeesse ture jechuudha. So A says it officially allowed independence for member nation. No, not allowed. B, it encouraged people to demand more rights and freedom. Yes, B is correct. So politically, glasnost kan jennu kun openness jechuudha afaan Ingiliffaa tokko hiikamu. It allows what? More freedom of speech, freedom of presses, and so on. So it led to the demand more rights and freedom. C, it formally converted USSR to capitalism. No, D, it encouraged communism more. Encouraged communism more? No. The answer is the best answer is B. As glasnost is for openness, so perestroika is to blank. Question number 14. A, glasnost jechuun openness jechuu yoo ta'u afaan Ingilizitti tokko hiikamu. Perestroika jechuun immoo perestroika jechuun maal jechuudha jechuudha. A, reorganizing. Yes, A is true. B, overthrowing. No. Peaceful coexistence. No. Publicity. No. Glasnost is a political reform that allows freedom for especially Eastern European countries. Perestroika jechuun immoo economic reform especially for the using of a hybrid both capitalist and communism. Capitalism and communism focus can go. So it focused on hybrid communist or the capitalist. Question number 15. Which one is not part of the 1944 Anglo-Ethiopian Agreement? It's the second treaty that was signed between Ethiopia and or Imperial Haile Selassie and Egypt, Britain. A, British advisories were assigned to each government ministers. A, British advisory were assigned to each government minister. So this is not in the second. Kun first keessaatti second keessaatti. B, Britain agreed to restore Ogaden to Ethiopia. Yes, bara 1944 Ogaden restore gochuu galtee waadaa galtee turte, but not waadaa sana hin dhugoomsine jechuudha. Especially hanga naannoo bara 1950 keessa jechuudha. 54 wantoota akkasitti. Question or letter C says it recognized independence of Ethiopia for the first time. No. 1942 recognized Ecuador, but restriction in Rakhine sovereignty. D, Ethiopia agreed to accept British principle of Greater Somalia. No. So the answer is A. Okay, question number 16. Kudha ja'affaatti yoo dhufnu question number 16 yoo dhufnu okay. What factor necessitated the promulgation of the revised constitution of the 1955? What factor necessitated, or what was the factors for the new constitution, for the promulgation or proclamation of the revised constitution of 1955? So this is the second written constitution jedhama. Why? Because the first is in 1931. A, relation of Ethiopia with Britain. No. B, federation of Eritrea with Ethiopia. Yes, one factor. C. To include democratic principle in the constitution. No, it was not about a democratic constitution. It was only focused on the centralization of emperor. Strength is effective centralization. This is to solve issues of Ethio-Somali border. No, the answer is B. So 1955 in constitution sababa gurguddoo lamaaf sadii fa'iif kan barraa'edha. The first one is to attract the loyalty of educated Ethiopians. Why? Because many educated Ethiopians have opposed him. The second one is about the Federation of Ethiopia. Answer B kan jiru sana jechuudha. Why? Because it was a modern administration form. Question number 17. One of the following describes the land tenure system of imperial period. One of the following describes the land tenure system of the imperial period. A. Its distribution was based on the size of family. B. Fair distribution of land to the tillers. C. It spread landlessness mainly in the southern part of Ethiopia. D. Absence of privatization of land. So the answer is only which kan ta'uu danda'a C. Maaliif hin taane distribution was based on the size of family jira. No, land tenure system was through guilt or rested. Fair distribution of land to the tiller, it was not during the imperial period. Land was not distributed among the peasants at that period. The absence of privatization of land is no considerable. Why? Because through color system there is also private land ownership was expanded. Question number 18. Which one was the earliest revolt of Emperor Haile Selassie faced soon after his return from exile? Baqarraa yookaan Biritishitti baqatee erga deebi'ee booda. The first serious opposition kan taate ishee kamii jedha? A. Wayyaanee peasant revolts. Wayyaaneen 1943 it was led by Bilata Hailemariam Ratta. B. Bale peasant revolt. Bale peasant revolt was from 1963 to 17. C. Gojam peasant revolt. Gojam immoo especially in 1968. D. Student movement is in 1960 keessa. So the earliest kan ta'e A dha jechuudha. 19. What was the main cause for the failure of the 1960 COP in Ethiopia? COP fonqolcha bara 1960 keessa raawwatameef the main cause for failure kan ta'e A. Lack of support from the policy force. B. Involvement of church leaders in the COP. No. C. Lack of support from the army. C is the best answer. D. Lack of interest among the COP makers. No. A and C are somewhat similarity, but they are different. Policy army, when we say the policy force, which maintains the peace and or the law in a specified territories or areas. When we say the army, they are responsible, especially primarily they worked with the national defenses. So the most important power is in their hands. Question number 20. Who was appointed as head of state by 1960 COP makers in Ethiopia? Fonqolcha sanarratti head of state kan ta'e head of state and prime minister jedhamanii muudamanii turan. A. Garmaamee Niwaawee. No. B. Mangistuu Niwaawee. No. Those F bira kan jiran they are the organizers of this COP or the COP date. C. Ras Imiru was also not the head of state, he was the prime minister. D. Asfawasan Haile Selassie, yes. Asfawasan was appointed as head of states. Question number 21. What was the famous slogan of Ethiopian students in 1960s and 70s? Famous slogan in isa motto no kamo slogan in jara mal ture slogan dhadanno. A. Ethiopia Tikadam. No, Ethiopia Tikadam was for dark. B. Land to the tiller. Yes, land to the tiller was students' slogan. C. Education for all. Education for all was especially during the federal government. D says education for peasants. C and D was especially supported during the Dergi period. For example, literacy campaign education for all, especially in rural areas by the Dergi government. So best slogan for students is B. 22. Of the following whose this was transformative event that pushed more radical students activists toward this revolution. Transformative event radical activist or revolution toward this revolution. Mormiti xiqqaa garaagaraa irraati gara warraaqsa guddaatti kan ce'ise kamii which action? A. Xilahun Giza. Yes, answer is A. Xilahun Giza, the student's president who was killed in 1969. B. Walalen Mokonnen. C. Baro Tumsa. D. Haile Fida. No. The answer is the best answer is A. He was the student's president. Question number 23. Which one of the following was the immediate cause for the fall of the Emperor Haile Selassie? The immediate causes. Immediate cause when you say cause committee battalumatti also long yeroo dheeraan fudhanne gabaabumatti godhe. A. Peasant revolts in different parts of the country. No. Peasant revolts in bara 1960 keessas ni jira ture. B. The attempted coup d'etat of 1960. This is also not the immediate. C. The students' movement that began in 1960s and continued in 1970s. No, it is also the continued revolts, but not the immediate. D is the popular revolution of 1974. So, warraaqsa bara 1974 is best answer. Why? Because during 1974, there was what? Students revolution. And also the taxi drivers, the teachers, and also others. So that was called popular revolution. Students and the teachers against the educational reform. Taxi driver against the rise of the price of petrol. The soldiers for their salary and so on. So question 24 ilalla. Question 24 says, what was the radical reform of the Derg that ended feudal relations in Ethiopia? Feudalism that ended. The reform Derg can end feudal system. A. The December 1974 literacy campaign. No. Literacy campaign. No. B. Nationalization of private bank and insurances. No. C. Nationalization of urban land in July 1975. No. D. Land Reform Proclamation of March 1975. Yes, D is best answer. Land was land reform Gumalde. Land was for the peasants. Labsi bara 1975 dargin baaseen lafi qonnaan bulaaf ta'ee jechuudha. Okay, question, the last question. Video kana bakka lamatti qoonni ilaallaa yeroo dheeraa fudhatan ta'eef. Question 25 says, which one was external factor for the fall of the Derg? External factor, internal and externally, adda baastanii beekuu qabdu jechuudha. A, opposition from various political groups. No, this is internal. B, corruption and maladministration. Maladministration are especially from internally. C, failure of the program of villagization. No, this is internal. Loss of support from external blocs. D is from external. So the factor for the fall of Turkey from external was the loss of support, especially from Russia and Eastern European countries. Why? Because the Eastern European countries, especially such as Russia, they were struggling with their internal problems at that period. Internal problem wajjin waan turaniif akkas turanii. So viidiyoo jalqabaatiin of kolchaa jechaa kanumaan xumurraa viidiyoo lammaffaas gaafa 26 irraa kaafnee kan itti fufnu ta'a. Subscribe godhaatii comment godhaa yaada kennaa wanti furamu wanti jijjiiramu yoo jiraate. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you my student, my family.